Should Liverpool sell Luis Diaz? There's some massive transfer rumours coming in from the likes of Bayern Munich and Barcelona, even the Saudi Arabian Pro League for Luis Diaz. And it's a very, very strange decision in my opinion. In this video, we'll break down what it means for the player, for Liverpool, and of course those clubs that I mentioned. Leave your comments down below. Is it the right decision for both Liverpool and for Luis Diaz to be going potentially to Bayern Munich? That's the most interesting, that's the most serious link from what I've seen. Linking Luis Diaz away from the football club to Bayern Munich. Now, obviously, Liverpool fans will remember when Sadio Mane joined Bayern Munich, it was a really underwhelming transfer. But if you think about it, Luis Diaz is kind of the Sadio Mane replacement. And he could also be joining Bayern Munich as well. Let's be real, Bayern Munich is a massive football club. They're a shoo-in to win the title every single season. It's a beautiful area, part of the world. It's a big football club that could win the Champions League. But I'm going to be completely real. Joining Bayern Munich is actually a downgrade on Liverpool. It's different if you're German. I think German is not a downgrade if you're German, because going to Bayern Munich, your biggest club in Germany, of course it is. It's not a downgrade if you're getting paid masses of money. But ultimately, Bayern Munich, as a sporting project, certainly is a downgrade on Liverpool. Now, obviously, Luis Diaz isn't from Liverpool. He might want the experience of going to Germany or going to a different football club in a different country. That's his prerogative. But on a sporting level, I have to say, going to Bayern Munich, you're not guaranteed the Champions League or a title run in the same way that Liverpool are. The Bundesliga isn't the Premier League anyway, but Liverpool, I mean, we could be talking about a side retaining the Premier League and going for the Champions League next season. I don't think Bayern Munich are anywhere near the Champions League next season. Every year we talk about Bayern Munich with Harry Kane, with Musiala, favourites to win the Champions League or second or third favourites. It's been it's been 5 years, and that was COVID when they last won the Champions League. Really, it's 2013 and the last serious Champions League that they won. You know, the COVID Cup doesn't really count for me. And ultimately, it's not a similar level sporting project. I think Luis Diaz on a personal level would be absolutely crazy to want to join Bayern Munich unless he loves the Bavarian Alps, unless he loves 2-liter Steiners of alcohol, of beer. Who knows? He maybe loves that. But as a sporting entity, it's nowhere near Liverpool. Absolutely not. Let's talk about it from the Liverpool perspective. Obviously, he came in for, around £30 million so many years ago. He's been part of a side that has done so well. I think he'll be wanting to win the Champions League with Liverpool. Obviously, he never did that. But he came in that season. He came in and helped Liverpool win the League Cup, the FA Cup, both against Chelsea. He was absolutely fantastic. When he came in, he was so electric. He was so dynamic. He was so robust in that Liverpool squad. At points, even playing down the middle. Again, a bit like Sadio Mane in that side. Worked so hard off the ball, so aggressive off the ball. And you could say that happened for Liverpool last season for Luis Diaz. He started the season a house on fire. And it felt at the back end of last season, Liverpool were actually getting a player that, actually, when I looked at him at big moments, he wasn't taking strikes. He wasn't taking efforts on goal. His confidence, I felt personally, looking at him, was a little bit lower than how he started the season to a considerable amount. Now, not every player can keep being 10 out of 10. That's really a kind of Salah job. That's a kind of Cristiano Ronaldo job. Ultimately, Diaz's form at the back end of the season, it could alarm you. And if you're the Liverpool higher-ups, you could be looking at getting £70 million in for Luis Diaz, making decent money on a player. It's only 30 in a couple of years. And bringing in someone like a Gordon that they've been linked to for a few years now. Isaac could still be on the table. What if Liverpool got some money in for Diaz and then put a bid in for Isaac? If you add the 70 plus, they put 80 of their own money in. 150 million euros, could they do that? I think ultimately, if you let Luis Diaz leave and you don't get any replacements, then that is a big issue. But actually, we don't know what's in the kind of in the future planning for the Liverpool higher ups in terms of maybe they're selling Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich and actually getting a ready-made replacement. I think Gordon would be an upgrade on Luis Diaz. But if you're not going to replace him, there is a big issue in that squad, in my ultimate opinion. You have to say, with the tragic news of Diogo Jota, if they were to lose Diaz as well, that front line is looking very, very thin. I think Gakpo is an exceptional footballer. I really do. I'm a massive fan of his kind of cultured kind of right foot, cutting in on his right foot, two-footed as well, really. But you could have Gakpo as that kind of starter on the left, Salah obviously on the right. And then you've got this kind of interchange, maybe Florian Wirtz, maybe it's someone else that comes in to replace the kind of the shirt that Luis Diaz would leave if he joined Bayern Munich. Obviously, this kind of news comes into the equation with the likes of Darwin Núñez, who's been linked to a move away, Harvey Elliott been linked to a move away. So maybe the Luis Diaz kind of, if you sell him on, also Chiesa probably has to go this summer. I mean, it's not going to work out, is it? Let's be real. I think he's a player that would thrive a bit more time, maybe a smaller club in Italy. I think he needs that kind of move, in my honest opinion. But if you get rid of those kind of players and you get 70 million euros for Luis Diaz, then suddenly there's a lot of space in that front line to rejuvenate the Liverpool front line. And maybe that is with a marquee signing, because it has to be made. There's no point making these kind of replacement signings for Trent on one side, for Andy Robertson on the other, with Kerkez and Frimpong respectively speaking. There's no point making these kind of signings that replace and replenish the squad if the front three is completely reduced and even Darwin Núñez leaves, as well as Harvey Elliott, Chiesa, and of course Luis Diaz. So I think more players have to come in for Liverpool if Luis Diaz leaves. But if you can upgrade Luis Diaz, then suddenly that is a scary proposition. It really is. If you're being really, really ruthless, I'd say his finishing, his confidence in front of goal dipped a touch at the back end of the season. And sometimes this Liverpool model is based on analytics. It's based on numbers. It's not an emotional thing. So I think if it was emotional, you'd keep him in the squad for his work rate, for his leadership, for his qualities all across the pitch. He can play any position in the front three. He's got rapid pace. But you would look at it and actually say maybe on a purely analytical kind of robotic level, maybe you can get someone that fits the Arne Slot mold a little bit more. Maybe loses possession a little bit less. A little bit more cultured. I'm not saying Diaz isn't a cultured footballer. I think he's absolutely outstanding. He's robust. He's dynamic. But he sometimes loses the ball a few too many times. Maybe a traditional winger. What if someone like Gordon comes in a bit silkier? What if someone like Isak comes in a little bit more of a golden touch about him? These are just two examples, but you could see Arne Slot wanting to have players with a little bit more control in that final third and giving Salah that kind of free role, giving Wirtz that free role. You probably can't have Salah, Wirtz, Diaz all being explosive and trying to run at the back line. I think Arne Slot will want a little bit more control. I think it's what cost him in certain moments in the League Cup final against Newcastle, in the Champions League knockout to PSG as well. That element of control, of moving away from Jurgen Klopp, trying to increase possession, being a little bit more calm, and maybe the Luis Diaz removal of him from the squad, going to Bayern Munich, would actually free up a little bit of money to get more of an Arne Slot squad going forward. Leave your comments down below. Do you think it's the right signing for Bayern Munich? I think it'd be a great deal for them, and that says everything. I think it's more of a great deal for Bayern Munich. I don't know if Liverpool, I don't know if they're going to be worried if they can replace Luis Diaz. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you very, very soon.